So good, so good, so good.
Everything you want for summer is at Nordstrom Rack stores now, and up to 60% off. Stock up and save on the brands you love like Vince, Sam Edelman, Frame, and Free People. Join the Nordy Club to unlock exclusive discounts, shop new arrivals first, and more. Plus, buy online and pick up at your favorite Rack store for free. Great brands, great prices. That's why you Rack.
Study
and play come together on a Windows 11 PC.
And for a limited time, college students get
the best of both worlds.
Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
Dr. Raj.
Dr. Raj. Dr. Raj Dasgupta.
The most interesting pulmonologist in the world.
Welcome to the Dr. Raj Podcast, a show all about empowering knowledge, addressing difficult topics, raising awareness, and being positive. Dr. Raj is a quadruple board-certified physician, associate professor of clinical medicine, and the associate program director of internal medicine residency. He was a co-host on the TNT series Chasing the Cure with Ann Curry, as well as a regular on the TV show The Doctors. And now, here's our show.
Hi, and welcome to the Dr. Raj Podcast. And what is this a podcast of? A podcast of happiness, of wellness, of amazing people, great stories. And today, everyone, we do have a treat. We have Eloiza Tecson, a CEO, investor, and operational strategist with a track record of building and scaling health and wellness brands to the extreme highest level. She is a Forbes 30 Under 30 honoree and recipient of the Los Angeles Business Journal's Women's Leadership Award and Orange County Business Journal's Women in Leadership Award. Currently, Eloiza serves as the CEO of Lindora, Southern California, overseeing the largest network of Lindora clinics, approximately 30 locations dedicated to helping patients take control of their metabolic health. She's simultaneously is the CEO of E20 Training, a boutique fitness brand she co-founded that uses electronic muscular stimulation. We're going to call that EMS as a more efficient method of resistance training. And it's now kind of integrated into Lindora's patient experience across the Southern California locations. She holds an MBA in marketing and finance and a doctorate of business administration in organizational leadership. She's on something I'm going to talk about, the board chair of Girls on the Run in Orange County. And I did check out the website, and we're going to talk about that. And she is committed advocate for women's and youth health. And outside of that, she's a competitive ultramarathoner who has tested her limits in running 100 miles. We're going to get to that. Eloiza, how are you doing? And thank you for being here today.
Oh my goodness, I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Coolio. So I'm going to throw you off. I'm going to go off script and say, dude, why the hell does anyone want to run 100 miles? Number one, did you almost die? Did you lose your kidneys? And are you like the Forrest Gump running across the country in the movie for no reason?
Well, honestly, if you're putting in that reference at the end of the day, you just got to start running. You know, it's fascinating. Every single time that I've had a chance to be able to talk about my ultramarathoning journey, for some reason, like my instinct goes to, my God, they probably think I'm absolutely psychotic right now. And I have to tell you though, like I've always been in endurance athletes and endurance sports, right? So whether it's at a very early age, I played volleyball, I played basketball, I spent all of my high school years playing competitive lacrosse. And then over time, I started running, honestly, and I loved it, right? I started running, I did triathlons, I went through the Ironman series, and it's just, what I realized over time is my brain is constantly running, literally figuratively a million miles a minute. And I always found that I wanted to be able to challenge myself. I wanted to do really hard things. And when I started to see and hear about all things ultra marathons, I'm like, wait, people can run that long? Like, wait, can your body actually do
I know.
that?
Is it even human?
Like, is it even human? Is it actually real?
Yeah.
So I started off, and what got me excited about it was technically like an ultra marathon. The lowest like initial stunt that people usually do is a 50K, which I've did a bunch of marathons before. And I'm like, wait, it's only 4 more miles more than a marathon. I'm like, wait, and I could be able to say that I'm an ultra marathoner. Like, how cool was that? But over time, honestly, I loved it because it tested my physical and honestly mental limits.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it ends up becoming more of a mental challenge more than anything, and I just loved everything about it. So that's the journey.
Let me just say, my better half, my wife Michelle, she runs marathons. She just did the LA marathon. And I
Nice.
always go there and cheer. And when you're at the end, and for those who don't know, a marathon is 26.2 miles. And when you stay at the end, you see all these people, you know what I mean? And it just makes you tear up because they're giving it all. They're limping. And that's 26.2. Your ass did 100.
100, yes.
I'm like, what? And so don't even lie. I mean, did your kidneys shut down? Were you so volume down that you're like, oh my God, I'm
Listen,
never going to pee again my entire life? You know what I mean?
honestly, like it was not a pretty sight crossing that finish line. Like I will be very real. It was not a pretty sight, but got the job done. I got the job done.
I'm proud of you, man. I'm super proud of you. So let's jump into like what Lindora is all about. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I honestly didn't know much about it, but being the good host that I am, I did some research. You've been around for a while, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny. I used to be on this TV show called The Doctors, and like Lindora was on The Doctors at one point, you know what I mean? Talking
Yeah.
about their stuff, So we have just missed each other, But anyways, tell me about metabolic health. I like that word. I think my people who are listening to this, my patients want to know more about it. What does it actually mean to you? And why do you think it matters so much right now in 2026?
Yeah, that's such a great question. It's so funny too about us never crossing paths before because Lindora has actually been around for 55 years, right? It's Southern California based. We started off having 30 locations down here. And it's fascinating because as I think about the evolution of the brand, historically, we were really just known as this weight loss and nutrition company, right? So we had a tried and true nutrition program that was predominantly rooted in just teaching people how to have a better relationship with their food. Now, as I think about this, right, metabolic health, yes, it's such a trendy buzzword nowadays, but there's a lot of weight
totally
behind
trendy
it, right?
buzzword.
It's such a buzzword.
Yeah.
Anytime I hear it, I was like, well, what does that actually mean?
Yeah, tell me.
But from my perspective here, like metabolic health is really about how efficiently your body processes energy, right? So you could be talking about blood sugar regulation, insulin sensitivity, inflammation, which is such a big problem nowadays. And then also, of course, like body composition and how effectively your body functions with your hormones. So from our perspective here, it actually is not just this niche clinical term anymore because truly, and I'm sure that you've probably seen it with your patients in your work, it's the foundation of almost every chronic disease conversation: diabetes, heart disease, obesity, even like cognitive decline too. So what I believe makes this moment in time so urgent is that we are seeing an ever growing generation of people who are what I like to call skinny sick. And it's
what is
perhaps,
skinny sick? Yeah,
right?
That's more of a buzzword than metabolic health. Dude, what is skinny
I know, right?
Sick? Yeah.
Skinny is sick. And what it is like you might have a normal weight on the outside, but you might be metabolically compromised on the inside.
Okay, I'll give you that. 100%.
Yeah, right?
Okay.
I was like, can a doctor validate that one on me?
I'm not going to put that as my ICD-10 code, my bill, skinny sick, but I like that.
I get that.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Maybe one day, 10 years from now, right? But you know what's fascinating too, as I'm sure that you've seen with your work, like GLP-1s and medications, like they've brought metabolic health into mainstream conversation. Okay. And I think that it's actually a gift, right? People are finally asking the right questions. People are more informed than ever before. And for me personally, it's not about a number on a scale. It's about how your body's actually functioning at a cellular level.
No, I agree. And you know who should have been on this podcast with me? You probably love her. I'm bragging about her too much. My wife. She's a rheumatologist, the best rheumatologist in the whole world. And, when she tells me about her patients, she definitely does things that she needs to do as Western medicine. But a lot of people don't want to be on lifelong meds. It's so important to have nutrition in there. It's so important to have weight in there. And I guess we could be friends because I'm a sleep doctor too. And, these aspects you're talking about metabolic health, they're all in a big stew. And it's so hard for one clinician to actually, take control of all the different parts of the stew. And I think it is nice that your, it's not really yours, but Lindora is actually trying to talk about that metabolic components there. So let's take it at the perspective of a Lindora patient. They come through the doors and they open them up. They're talking to some person. They're talking to you. What are they really asking underneath? Give me the 411 of what they really want.
Yeah, and actually, sometimes they actually are talking to me, but it's funny when I have the chance to be able to speak with our patients, right? Because in Southern California alone, we're servicing anywhere between 6,000 to 10,000 patients. So we're learning a lot. And then because considering the fact that we've been around for 55 years, the last total count that I had was over time for the life cycle of the brand, we've actually had a chance to be able to work with at least 1 million patients, right? Like how powerful is that?
That's nutty, so cool. Dude. So I'm going to ask a stupid question. I'm going to interrupt you really quick. Are you Lindora all over the US or are you just here in Cali?
It's actually now nationwide. So
that's cool.
Lindora is now a franchise system. So we've got the majority of locations down here in Southern California because it's been around since we started. But now we're starting to see Lindora pop up in some key markets nationwide, which we're really excited about.
So even though you're a CEO and you're wearing this like power suit, you still are seeing clients when they come in?
Well, I'm not a clinician. Listen, I got my doctorate, but I'm definitely not a doctor that can be able to handle those.
So you don't wear like a fake you don't wear a fake like coat when you go in there?
No, I don't think it would make sense for me to wear a lab coat. I'm not sure if I would get a lot of trust from our patients there. But no, for me, like I think it's important that we're always staying close to our patients and getting their feedback. Right. So to answer your question,
tell me what they want. What do they want underneath all this, dude? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, on the surface, they come to us because they need to lose weight, or also too, they say that they've tried everything and nothing works. But what that signals to me is that they're actually saying something much deeper underneath. It's more so that they're saying that they don't feel like themselves anymore. So they're coming to us with a lot of grief, frustration, and then at most times, like they're actually really afraid. There's often like this fear that something is wrong with them, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of our patients that are coming through, they always tell us that they've done all the right things, but they just still can't figure out why their body isn't responding. So what we've trained our clinicians across our locations is that you have to ask deeper, right? You have to ask a deeper question, which is, can you help me understand what's actually going on? Because truly, if I put myself into the perspective of our patients, they just want someone to take them seriously clinically and not just hand them a meal plan. And why that matters from a 4-wall brick and mortar, having an actual physical location perspective matters is that the clinical model, the clinical expertise is absolutely the differentiator. So we start with a provider exam, labs, real data, your own unique biology, because at the end of the day, people deserve answers. They don't just need a motivation and inspiration. Like they need something that's truly speaking to them.
I like that. And so if I wanted to get that blood work, are you going to ship me somewhere else? I have to go to Quest Labs, or is it going to be right into place where
it's actually right in
all the stores? In all the stores, you got your thing right there. Look at you, man! It's like a little one-stop. All right. So I kind of wanted to talk about the scale. You know what I mean? The scale in the bathroom. Do you have a scale in your bathroom?
I don't.
Did you throw it away? Did you purposely throw it away?
I absolutely threw it away. I was like, I got to practice what I preach here.
So I agree. I think I know friends. I know myself. There was a time where I thought I wanted to be a little more better in shape. And I would have the habit of always checking that stupid scale and it get me upset. You know what I mean? You know when you feel good, but the number doesn't show it? I'm like, oh, that sucks, dude. So one of your quotes is that the scale doesn't tell the whole story. And I kind of remembered when we talked about it. So can you walk me through why doesn't it tell you the whole story? And why did you throw your scale away?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like the scale is just one data point, right? And it can actually be one of the most misleading ones, which is probably why you've been frustrated with it as well. So inside our clinics, we actually collect several data points. And one is a body composition analysis. And through that, we actually measure lean muscle mass, visceral fat, hydration, and then metabolic rate. Because two people can honestly weigh exactly the same, but have completely different health profiles. One could be classified as metabolically healthy, and then the other one could be a significant risk. So some pieces that we're looking for specifically is visceral fat, right? So that's the fat
Yes.
surrounding your organs. It's the most dangerous kind. It's also the least visible. So if you can't see it, you might think, oh, it's probably not a problem. But then also too, the scale, the body count, that still doesn't complete the whole picture. So
No.
we also include lab markers. So we have a comprehensive metabolic lab panel that's also taking a look at fasting, insulin, A1C, lipid panels. We ask how you're sleeping, how you're moving, and how you just actually feel day to day. Because to your point, what we realize and what we try to enforce is that progress looks like a patient losing inches, gaining muscle, and then also seeing their labs normalize. Because even if the scale moved less, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not performing or they're not progressing, right? It actually could create, in theory, a more metabolically healthy profile.
Oh, I love that. And just plug in a little importance about sleep. It's like, hey, if you're not getting good, what I call the two Qs, the quantity and the quality of sleep, dude, your weight's going to go in the wrong direction. It's all about these hormones. You're stressed, you release cortisol. There's these hormones called leptin and ghrelin. I'm just showing off a little bit, so just bear with me.
I was like,
You know
my
what I
God,
mean?
it's showing off a little bit. I was like, I don't know any of those words.
And when you want to lose weight, you need to secrete a lot of leptin, L for lose weight. And you do that when you're getting good sleep. And when you don't get good sleep, you get the big G, ghrelin, gaining weight. So I do think, having a nice metabolic stew sprinkled with good sleep is definitely the way to go.
Expedia and Visit Scotland invite you to come experience the beauty that awaits in Scotland. The sweep of wild coastlines, quiet lochs, and untamed landscapes. Fresh cuisine that feels rooted in the land. Come experience the kind of stillness that stays with you long after you leave. Plan your Scottish escape today at expedia.com/Visit Scotland.
Hey everyone, Chris here from MedPrep to Go, and I wanted to ask you to please follow us on social. There may be links in the show notes, or you can find us at MedPrep to Go on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and now YouTube. We'd greatly appreciate it as we try to spread the word about MedPrep to Go and keep medical education accessible and affordable.
So let's talk about trends and patterns. You know what I mean? Like right now, what have you been noticing? You know what I mean? I'm sure you chat with all your colleagues and all the clinicians in there. What are going to be some of those trends and patterns that are important that the general public should know about and get a little more understanding about?
My gosh, there's so many nowadays, right? I mean, I think one thing that most, hopefully, probably your audience is going to be familiar with is like this rise of GLP-1 medications, right? It's
Boom.
everywhere. It is
Nailed it.
everywhere. We
Yeah.
see it. But from our side, like what we're seeing is that they work for weight loss, but they also accelerate muscle loss if patients aren't intentional about resistance training and protein intake.
Okay.
And muscle loss is the silent, like I like to call it like the silent risk of like rapid weight loss, right? It tanks your metabolism. And unfortunately, it actually sets people up for a rebound. So we're seeing a lot of younger patients, right? 30s and early 40s, which used to be rare. So metabolic dysfunction is presenting at a much earlier rate, which all of us should absolutely be concerned about. And from a education perspective, I would also say that people are more health literate than ever, right? They're even asking about their labs. They're asking about their visceral fat score and their protein grams. So like the conversation has completely elevated. So it puts a lot of pressure on my clinicians, my NPs and my MDs, but it's a good challenge because we do want people to be more educated about their health.
No, and I'll add on to that. It's a good thing and a bad thing. I think that sometimes when you go to Dr. Google or all this
Dr. ChatGPT,
it's hard because some of the stuff may or may not be legit, and it adds a lot of anxiety to everyone. What does this lab mean? Oh my God. Yeah. And let me just kind of go off script and just ask, do you still have a lot of patients that are into this ketogenic diet? Do you hear a lot about that?
We absolutely do. And because of course, that's how Lindora was founded. So in Southern California specifically, we're still actually working with a significant amount of patients that are going through our tried and true ketogenic based food nutrition program. So what it is that it's ketogenic. It's different than keto because we actually made modifications and it's not necessarily following the structure like fat, particularly in the case of fats, right? So healthy fats. But yeah, I mean, the majority of our members are actually still going through the ketogenic program, mostly because like it's been clinically trialed and clinically backed. And we noticed that
some people are so extreme about that.
Oh
You know what
my
I mean?
gosh, yes.
I'm like, homie, you're not even eating one carbohydrate. This doesn't sound good. But
and I think it's actually such a great point because it's one of the things that I consistently am challenged with too. Like when I'm chatting with my patients, they're talking about how much weight they've been able to lose with the ketogenic program. But then I start to ask deeper questions, right? And I'm like, okay, are you sleeping? Are you exercising? We take a look at your body comp and I see that there's a huge drop off in your muscle mass. So then it becomes this whole piece of the conversation where truly it shouldn't just be one intervention alone and nutrition being one of them. It can't just be your going through this incredible, significant like calorie deficit. You need to be taking a look at the whole picture, right? You need to make sure you're putting in the right proteins, you're getting the right fibers, getting the right amount of fats. And then you're also not just restricting yourself because at the end of the day, I actually view nutrition and creating a more metabolically healthy human as somebody that just knows how to make better decisions about their health.
Yeah, you do sound like a fake doctor, dude. You do a great job.
Thanks.
So anyways, hey, I want to talk about this thing in your bio about this EMS, electric muscle stimulation. Can you tell me just a little bit about it? Dumb it down for me and the people listening, dude. And why do you believe in it? And why do you think it's part of this whole journey when people go to Lindora?
Oh my gosh, yes. So what EMS is, or electrical muscle stimulation, it's a technology that uses low-level electrical impulses and it contracts your muscles and actually activates up to 90% of your muscle fibers simultaneously versus about 30 to 40% in conventional training.
Okay.
Right? The way to look at it is that typically if you're going through conventional strength training, your brain is usually trying to send a signal to make your muscles contract. And what that ends up doing is that you ends up usually just only focusing on one muscle part, which is why in most structured resistance training programs, people are always saying, oh, I'm going to do back and biceps today. Oh, I'm going to focus on my upper body today. Oh, I'm going to focus on my lower body today. And if you're trying really, really, really hard and really focusing, you might hit that 40% threshold. But for EMS, the technology, the electrical stimulation, it's actually bypassing the need for your brain to make your muscles contract, and it's doing that for you.
Wow.
And it's also helping you reach muscle fatigue, right? So most people, it takes like a long time in order to actually hit muscle fatigue. But it's actually an immediate sensation within the first 5 minutes of going through EMS.
Not me. I'm fatiguing the minute I hit the treadmills.
The minute you hit gotcha. Yes, of course, it's always that.
But hey, how do you do that? You don't have to reveal the secret sauce during the podcast. But are you wearing a jacket? Are you wearing some kind of vest? Can you just give me a little teaser?
Sure. And also, you're SoCal based. You can come and check us out anytime. But
I can't afford you guys. Dude, give me the Dr. Raj discount and I'll come see you.
Don't worry. We'll take care of you. We'll take care of you for sure. Yeah. So you do wear an EMS suit. It's also, by the way, just a 20-minute experience.
Okay.
So
cool.
The 20-minute session, it actually delivers like this muscular stimulus of a much longer conventional workout. So it's so time efficient. And the way that our team actually tries to just introduce this and translate this to the average consumer is that one 20-minute session is actually equivalent to anywhere between 2 to 4 hours of traditional strength training.
No kidding.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, you may have just got me there because I'm just on my elliptical, sweating my butt off, almost falling off. You're tempting me a little bit. You're tempting me. So let's talk about muscle mass a little bit. I don't know how it correlates with the EMS. Does it? And why is muscle mass so important? And am I overlooking it as a clinician? Because I never talk about muscle mass. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's interesting because it was actually a pretty astounding kind of conversation that we've had with our clinicians too at Lindora. But truly, I view muscle as your primary metabolic engine, right? The
Okay.
more lean muscle you carry, the more calories your body will burn at rest.
Okay.
I also think that it acts as like this glucose sink, right? So muscle tissue will absorb your blood sugar. So higher muscle mass directly improves insulin sensitivity. You can fact check me this too, right? You're the doctor here in this conversation.
Dude, I'm telling you, no one can see it, but you just put it on your white coat and you're like trying to give me a lecture here. I'm
Yes.
proud of you, man. Keep on going.
Thank
Keep on
you.
going. I like it.
Thank you. So, and I think from a muscle mass side, it's fascinating because as we think about who Lindora is serving, and then also just more broadly too, outside of Lindora, I would say that this is just profoundly overlooked, especially in women. So we are not conditioned to think about building muscle. We're conditioned to think about being smaller.
Mhm.
And it has a huge tie into this whole longevity conversation. I know we've kind of talked about this. We're not diving specifically into the longevity piece, but truly, like as you're seeing, probably, right? Muscle mass and strength are among the strongest predictors of health span, not just lifespan, but like how well you actually live.
No, and that's why we're friends. I'm a big proponent of there's a clear difference between living long and living healthy. And I love that you said that. And I'll just chime in. I really feel I need to do a better job about muscle mass because I do believe in my heart. I see a lot of patients with COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. They tend to be very cachectic. And by doing muscle training, I feel more muscle means more mitochondria. Mitochondria is where you make oxygen. You're going to actually be able to push yourself longer, not fall as much. So, I mean, I'm kind of downplaying it. I do know the importance of muscle mass, and I do agree. And I'm glad you're like really focusing on that. But as we're kind of in my little 2 or 3 questions left, I want to ask you about my listeners. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that have been struggling, whether it be weight or nutrition or just combinations of all put together. And they're like, hey, this podcast is kind of cool. You're kind of cool. If they're stuck, what would be something you could tell them to kind of jumpstart their motivation again?
Well, first thing that I would say is you are not the problem. Most programs have actually failed people, not the other way around. So if you've been doing everything right and just not getting the results, that's clinical information. So something in your biology needs to be looked at, and it's not your willpower, right? The worst thing that you can do is keep retrying the same approach and expecting a different result, right? We all call like that's the definition of insanity. So at some point, you do need a clinical eye on like what's actually happening. So from our perspective here in Lindora, like we've got 55 years of clinical experience here in metabolic health. So we've walked alongside patients who thought that they had no options and helped them find a path. So outside of Lindora, the first step is just have a conversation. Get your numbers done, get your labs done, understand your baseline because truly information is power and it'll help remove the shame from the equation.
And I want to throw another curveball because I did go to the Girls on the Run website. And I just love nonprofits and doing good things. So, quick plug to them. Can you explain what it is and why are you so passionate about it?
My gosh, yes. So, Girls on the Run, and I think even taking a step back, as I take a look at my own personal journey, whether it's through health or through the business and professional side, I actually attribute a lot of my success to just knowing the importance and value of being able to move. And when I got this really deep passion for helping young women, whether it's through helping them elevate their careers, giving them exposure to education and mentors that they probably would not have had access to in the past. I also think it's important for a young woman and just like youth in general to get healthy and to get active, right? I'm seeing it as this glaring problem right now on the obesity side and weight loss side with Lindora, where we're actually dealing with pediatric patients, right? And Girls on the Run was and still is a passion project for me. So it's a philanthropic organization. They're actually found globally now at this point, but we're kickstarting our Orange County chapter. So it's right here at home for me. And what we're effectively doing is that we're creating more opportunities for girls to get healthy, get moving, and be on the run.
I love it. So back to you, back to your company. I'm sure someone is like, you sound cool. You sound very intelligent. You just have a nice personality. So if they want to find you, where can they find you and the Lindora clinics? And what's the best first step for someone who's ready to actually learn a little bit more?
Yeah, well, we've got 30 locations. And if you're Southern California based, we got 30 of them down here. We also have a full list of Lindora locations that are available nationwide. So you can find that all lindora.com. And the best first step, again, is just like book a consultation, have a conversation, right? Get to know yourself, get your baseline. For EMS and resistance training, we do have our E20 training brand. So that could be found on e20training.com. But we're also actually expanding our presence inside Lindora clinics as part of a broader partnership. But follow us on social, have a conversation, because that's really just a signal enough to take a first step.
Nice. And we're going to put all your websites and social media stuff on our show notes. And let me just end by saying, Eloiza, you're a cool person. This is a real fun podcast. I mean, that 30 minutes went by pretty damn quick. So, hey, thanks for letting us know all about a little bit of metabolic health, talking to us about the importance of muscle mass and muscle strength. Dude, you're awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Everyone else out there, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Dr. Raj podcast. Stay tuned for the next episode.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Dr. Raj podcast. If you enjoy the show, then please make sure to follow us on your favorite podcast app and leave a rating while you're there. This show is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not intended as medical advice. This has been a production of MedPrep to Go, and you can learn more at medprep2go.com. Hey everyone, Chris here from MedPrep to Go, and I want to take a quick break to announce that our first course is now live. Comprehensive Endocrinology is a video series with Dr. Raj Dasgupta that features 9 hours of content in 8 modules. This course is useful for learning endocrinology for internal medicine, family medicine, USMLE Step 3, and COMLEX Level 3. And this content is exclusive to the video series and won't be available on any of our podcasts. Keeping with our philosophy of making medical education affordable and accessible, this course is available for just $10 a month or $20 for a year. So check it out now and start learning at medprep2go.com. And stay tuned for more courses coming later this year.